Alright, hello there. Been asked by the big lads upstairs to tone down the superlatives in my video intro. So, in the most measured way possible, NXT is f***ing brilliant, in my opinion. The buzz on WWE's third brand has died down slightly since its 2015 peak, but it's still producing great new talent, captivating storylines, and its takeover shows are some of the year's most enjoyable events. Sadly though, prospering at Full Sail University gives no guarantees of any main roster success, and quite a lot of talent has, well, ever since it was called up. If that's a lack of TV time, a diluting of their character, whatever, a lot gets lost in the transition. My name is Adam Cleary, and these are 8 specific things you miss about NXT wrestlers in WWE. Number 8, Asuka's uniqueness. Starting out with perhaps the most relevant at the moment, and what WWE have done with Asuka since they drafted her to the main roster is, well, again, it started brightly enough with the continuation of her winning streak and the honour of being the first ever historic once-in-a-lifetime first ever women's first ever Royal Rumble winner, but since then, they either can't make their mind up what they want to do with her, or they just keep changing their minds. In NXT, Asuka was a force of nature. She was brash, she was bright, she was a terrifying in-ring presence. She was booked in a way that nobody since or before has been done, and it made for such compelling viewing. But on the main roster, she has become just another face in the crowd. She does silly dances, she cuts promos in broken English, and her in-ring work isn't even that ferocious that just looks like a sinister, twisted side of her. It's just her gimmick. Number 7, Bray Wyatt's menace. The article I've converted this script from opened this very entry by saying that Bray Wyatt was the most ineffectual heel currently in WWE. Now that was written a year ago, but it does still carry. Sometime after the end of his Undertaker feud, Bray Wyatt became simply a parody of himself. His promos became total gibberish. He started losing all the big matches. He was a cartoon character doing goofy matches, not a terrifying heel. When his character was birthed in NXT though, he was a monstrous cult leader being flanked by 2 absolute behemoths. The promos were fresh, his aura was intoxicating, the 3 of them felt absolutely terrifying. Was the Hardy feud and subsequent team-up good? Yes, it actually was. It was really good, in fact, but it hasn't given him an edge back. Number 6, Bayley's underdog credibility. Bayley's rise through NXT is one of the greatest stories WWE has ever told. No, honestly, don't look at me like that. It is. Though always an integral part of the brand's 4 horsewomen, Bayley constantly played second, third, and even fourth fiddle to Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks. She had heart, yes, she had skill, yes, but she was too naive, too nice to ever make it to the top, and this cost her time and time again, until finally it didn't. It was a story that went on for years and finally paid off when she overcame her polar opposite greatest adversary, Sasha Banks, at TakeOver Brooklyn. But somehow on the main roster they've taken this character and just constantly humiliated her, making her look like a loser, and as such her popularity has... you get it. Number 5, Kevin Owens' mean streak. On the same night that Sami Zayn, his supposed best friend, had finally achieved his long-held goal of winning the NXT title, the debuting Kevin Owens congratulated him by powerbombing him onto the apron. Absolute scenes. This is what Kevin Owens' original character in WWE was supposed to be. Brutish, take no prisoners, step on absolutely everybody to get to the top. He was at once a violent menace and yet still a Machiavellian schemer, and this made him the most captivating new face in the company to watch. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think Kevin Owens is brilliant, but he has become just another generic WWE heel who is defined by cowardness and evasion and Weasley tactics above all else. His Universal title run is where it all started to go wrong for him, but now he's running away scared from Braun Strowman, and literally the night before I recorded this, put in a toilet and pushed over. I still love him, and he's still one of the most enjoyable lads in the whole company to watch, but it's just not the same. Number 4, Andrade Cien Almas, just in general. I mean, nothing specific here, I just really miss Andrade Cien Almas. Since he lost the NXT title at TakeOver New Orleans, which at the time of me recording this is almost exactly 3 months ago, he has been on television for a whopping 2 wrestling matches, totaling in ring a combined time of 2 minutes 31 seconds. That is how much wrestling you have seen Andrade Cien Almas do since WrestleMania weekend. 2 minutes 31. So, I don't know, maybe use him? Number 3, Sasha Banks' viciousness. Sasha Banks is, in my obviously quite correct opinion, absolutely brilliant. And there was a time about, say, a year ago when you could have made the argument that she was WWE's best ever female in-ring performer. She had been a key component in pretty much all of the major matches in the Women's Revolution, if not the key component. But yes, admittedly, that was a year ago, and I wouldn't dare try and make that argument now. You see, everything about Sasha Banks, from her gimmick to her moveset to her body language to her speech patterns, absolutely everything screams heel, and she spent her entire time on the main roster either half-arsed playing a face or maybe playing a heel. We've never been sure. But in NXT, she was absolutely savage. She bloodied Alexa Bliss's nose twice. She stamped on Bayley's arm to stop her reaching the rope to break a submission. She looked like she was going to tear Becky Lynch's arm clean out of her socket. She stole a 9-year-old girl's headband and then mocked her for crying about it. Ugh! Anyway, yes, what was I saying? I really miss this version of Sasha Banks, the conniving, scheming, evil, vicious version of her that looked like she wanted to destroy her opponents mentally and physically as much as she did beat them in a wrestling match. Bring her back, is what I'm saying. Number 2, Sami Zayn's sense of purpose. The NXT version of Sami Zayn, sort of similar to the NXT version of Bayley in many respects, was one of the great babyface stories in the company's history. He desperately wanted to win, he desperately wanted to be champion, but he was constantly told by those around him, including his friends, that he wasn't good enough. But then, eventually, after much trying, he did it, and yay. He got injured, yes, but when he came back, he was full of righteous fury, and then he wanted to win the NXT title back. But even when he couldn't do that, he wanted to beat Nakamura in his farewell match. He was fiery, he was ambitious, he was a truly three-dimensional hero. Now, though, he is simply portrayed as an over-exuberant dork who is never ever going to get a push on the main roster. His heel stuff was good, don't get me wrong, but it still constantly leaves him looking like a complete roaster. Number 1, Shinsuke Nakamura's star aura. This time last year, if I'd have told you that Shinsuke Nakamura would still not have been WWE champion and we would all be desperate for them to kill this feud with AJ Styles, you would have called me a knob, spat in my face, and I would have let you. And the sad fact is that Nakamura's time on the main roster has been weird, to say the least. He was needlessly booked as 50-50 with Ziggler in his first feud on SmackDown, then he was effectively fed to Jinder all summer, and then, well, the Styles thing has just been You see, NXT's short 1-hour shows meant there was no chance whatsoever of us getting too much Nakamura and feeling burnt out by it. He was protected effectively by a lack of exposure, but on the main roster, with all that goddamn airtime to fill, he doesn't have that luxury, and yeah, there's not enough of him, is there? Such is his popularity, though, I am convinced that this star power would return if he just has one amazing match. But if it hasn't arrived in 4 main event bouts with Styles, then is it ever going to? Probably not. Womp womp. Anyway, yes, there you have it. 8 very specific things you miss about formerly great NXT wrestlers on the, well, I suppose it's alright in the end, WWE main roster. Really bummed myself out with that one, but whatever, we've still got the network. Let us know what you make of it in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and oh god, there's the subscribe button. Please do smash your face into that if you haven't done already. In the meantime, here are 2 more videos. I'm pushing them towards you from the exciting world of WWE, and in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Until next we meet, my name has been Adam Cleary. I'll see you soon.